Okay, you are live. Hello, everyone. You are here again with a new guests and a new co-host again. I would like to ask to say thank you for Giovanna. Thank you, Giovanna, to be our host.
Hi.
And today you are joined by Ernest Cheng, the director of market at ASUS. He's a global leader in gaming technology, and he's doing his career in product marketing. Ernest, first of all, thank you very much for your time, for your attention for us. And I did a small introduction about yourself. I would like to ask you for you do an introduction, say who is Ernest, how you started, and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Ernest. I am the director of marketing for ASUS North America. So within ASUS, we have a lot of different product lines. So I'm in charge of the product lines that is having to do with all the PC components, the gaming peripherals, including keyboard, headset, mice, gaming mice, as well as a lot of B2B products as well, including server, mini PC. We also do a lot of monitors, so any like esports monitors, high refresh rate monitors. That's what I'm in charge of. So within ASUS, we have a lot of different marketing departments. We have product marketing, channel marketing, PR, as well as content marketing. These are all different fields of marketing that contribute to the overall marketing departments here in North America.
Great. Um, how did you start your interest in tech industry and the marketing?
Well, I finished my undergrad in the States. I was majoring in commerce and engineering. I think that's a field where you need to understand both tech and business. And then when I started looking for a job, I tried to look for a field that has those two attributes. So business, but understanding tech, because I'm a really big fan of tech overall, hardware tech. So whether it's like having to do with like computers, with gaming, when I first started my career, it wasn't really in gaming. It was mostly just tech itself. I was focused
Mhm.
on wireless technology, so with like wireless routers. And I thought that was intriguing because we use Wi-Fi every single day, and it was very important for me to know how to communicate that type of technology terms to the end user. So yeah, I would say when I started, it was just looking for something related to tech and something that I can utilize marketing as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. And you said that you started the career in the tech part. Uh, have you already played anything? How the passion about esports started? Do you play any game or something like that?
Yeah, so funnily, when I started um, in high school, um, the first game that came to mind is probably like StarCraft, because StarCraft is a game where a lot of my friends played in high school. So we would actually stay after school just to have like our own LAN party. So StarCraft is probably like the first game that came to mind, and then obviously like Age of Empires is another like Blizzard game that came to mind as well. I think those two games are two of my most um, I would say memorable games within my childhood. We get into like computer games. Yeah, but even earlier, like when I was in elementary school, like computer games is also something that I would play around with. There's like Prince of Persia, the really old Prince of Persia on the computer. So that's when I started to really understand about gaming. Um, yeah, once the internet came on, yeah, definitely StarCraft, CS:GO. Yeah, those are titles that even till now it's popular. Yeah.
Wow. And have you imagined you will be working with game industry and sports, or it just happened in your life?
I think it just happened. So I actually in ASUS, I've been working in ASUS for about, I would say, a little bit over 10 years. The first 4 years was in Taipei, Taiwan, which is our headquarters. The last, 7 years is here in North America. But when I first started, I was actually managing events. So that is from, lifestyle products to gaming products. I would manage both. Um, and because I was really passionate about gaming itself, I think it just happened that I was able to get an opportunity to create content for the Republic of Gamers brand overall. Um, and within the Republic of Gamers a brand, you need to have a lot of different variety of gaming content. Like, what is the most popular game that's going on? You have to really follow the trend. And then when you want to integrate that with your brand and product, you like, if you are playing this game, what type of equipment you need, and you kind of integrate that aspect into the marketing aspect, so people understand what you have to offer from your brand that would increase or improve the gaming experience overall.
Nice. And in gaming or esports, what was the first role you have?
So my first role was content marketing. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's trying to create content, whether it's article content or video content, and try to publish that on our blog or our website. And by doing so, you have to work with a lot of different esports teams around the world, as well as getting our products in their hands, so they can give you feedback of how the product is good or bad. If it's good, how can we improve? And then if it's bad, why was it bad? And then did we, is the product better suited for another game, not just your game, etc. So I think content marketing was first, and then I also did campaign marketing. So I ran a lot of different esports tournaments. Um, so we would create different worldwide events, similar to like the ROG Masters, where I ran the first global ROG Masters in Southeast Asia, where we invite teams from all over the place to come and compete. So we did in 2017 or 2016, I believe, we did a big campaign in Malaysia for both CS:GO and Dota 2, where we also first we had a like online tournament, and then the final 8 teams for each title would go to Malaysia, and we have a really big offline tournament, and then we invited everybody within the city to come and watch to play. So I think that was my first couple of experiences within esports that was really rewarding, because you get to work with a lot of big organizations like ESL, as well as working with partners like Intel, in order to make sure that um, the gaming aspect within technology is really highlighted through those events.
Great. And how did the opportunity at the ASUS come up? And you were living in America or you had to move to there?
So I was actually in Taiwan when I first worked at ASUS. I was actually recommended by a friend because I wanted to do um, branding, like marketing overall and branding. It, Gaming really didn't come to mind until I was within ASUS itself. I really like games, but I kind of want to understand what branding is to reinvent a brand. And I know ASUS had, the ASUS brand itself, and then we have the gaming brand. So it was really interesting to see, what I can really contribute on the marketing side. So yeah, I was referred by a friend to join ASUS. And then I did the, interview, and I also did a like portfolio presentation in terms of what are my strengths, weaknesses, and then how I can contribute to the role.
Right.
Wow,
And
amazing.
yes, and you worked as a market manager, right? Before ASUS. Uh,
Before ASUS, I was already a marketing manager, so I had experience like managing people. Even though it was like a small team from 2 to 3 people, when you are in a small company compared to a big company, in a small company you get to experience, because you have to do everything on your own. You have to do, PR, you have to do event managing, you have to, order marketing materials. So within a small company, you really get to learn how to do the 360 of a marketing. And when you're in a bigger company, you are more dedicated and more, I would say, precise in terms of what you want to do. Yeah.
It's muted.
oh, sorry. Thank you. Uh, and my question was, you have already worked at market manager before ASUS, but I imagine that in ASUS it was totally different for you, especially because you have the gaming part. How was that transition for you? What was like the biggest challenge you had?
Well, I think the biggest part, is the number of people that you manage. I think company culture is definitely one thing, but the number of people that you manage from 2 people to right now, around 30 people, it's a lot different because you have to really understand what are everybody's strengths and weaknesses. You have to understand what their KPIs, their goals. I mean, then you have to help them achieve their goals as well. From a manager standpoint, if I don't give clear instruction and clear expectations, um, it's going to be very chaotic in terms of, they also are not really sure in terms of what they do is right or not. So I would say like setting the right expectations, having a clear end goal in mind is really important to manage a marketing team. Yeah.
Great.
Go, go,
Mm.
Giovanna.
Ah, you were touching the microphone. I thought you were going to speak.
No, no.
Okay. Um, I would like to know more about how you do, like how you prepare campaign for your marketing. How is for you to connect the the brand with the public?
So within the Republic of Gamers, the first thing that we need to do is within every single campaign, you have to set the goal. What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to let people to understand your goal more? Are you trying to, who is your target audience? Is it people who, um, depending on the campaign, if a particular game, everybody who plays for a particular age range, then you have to set up the campaign to make sure that it's attractive for them. um, you need to find the right partners to work with, whether it's influencers, gamers, or gaming teams. There's a reason why within this year, ASUS, um, not just in North America but global, we are sponsoring more and more esports teams, like NRG, like um, um, Cloud9, etc. These are all really well-established teams, and we want to work with these teams because we know that the younger generation, they really listen and understand what they have to say. They would trust their expertise in terms of using our products. So it's kind of making sure that for each campaigns we find the right ambassadors that would actually highlight the strength of our products, whether it's a giveaway campaign, whether it's an esports tournament. The ultimate goal for us is to let people understand that ASUS has a really robust um, sets of hardware that they can really use in order to win games at the highest level. So I would say that would be like our ultimate goal. And then the steps that we need to achieve to reach that goal includes, whether we add like a giveaway mechanism, do we let the end users have a chance to play with the professional players? I think that would be very attractive as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. And you joined ASUS like 9 years ago, 10 years ago, something like
Yeah,
that.
in 2013, yeah.
Yes. So how was the gaming sports and position to the brand? Because I know that ASUS ROG is from 2006, but they get more visibility, more power. Like I think 10 years ago. How was that? Especially I think after the cell phone was a big boom. I don't know for everyone,
Mm.
but for me it was like crazy.
Yeah, so when we first established the Republic of Gamers or ROG, it was mostly dedicated for PC components. So we had like motherboards that people would use to go to the extreme performance. That's why in the early years we did a lot of overclocking, not even until now. Overclocking is the practice in order to use the CPU to see what type of performance you can achieve um, with the motherboard. So as we continue to evolve, we have more and more product lines like graphics cards, as well as monitors, all positioned at a really high level for people to compete at the highest level. Um, and as we continue to have more product lines, like laptops, like you have, I think that's a GL502, if I'm not mistaken. Very
Yes, it
similar.
is. It is.
So I actually helped to roll out the
Mm.
campaign for that laptop back in 2015 or 2016 as well. So that laptop is maybe 10 years old too. It's an ROG Strix. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
how has your role evolved at over time at ASUS since when you start?
Yeah, so I started as a marketing specialist. I think when you started to, um, I would say when you first start your career, don't say no to any opportunity, even though you might say like, hey, this is not what I'm really interested in. I just want to do gaming. If I say I just want to do gaming from the start, I would close a lot of doors for more growth opportunity. So I would say when you first start, try to have like an open mind. Like any role that you're assigned to, it's an opportunity for you to understand more about the industry, more about the job itself, and you gain more skills and mental toughness just by doing different types of work. I think ultimately, when people understand that you are equipped with the right knowledge as well as attitude, the stuff that you want to do would open for you, and then you get really to invest yourself in the stuff that you like.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah. And I know that depends on the idea, depends on a lot of things, but usually at ASUS, how do you define that it's a successful marketing program or a marketing initiative? How do you define the successful marketing?
I think it depends on your role. Like if you are just doing social media, obviously, if you have a lot of engagement and visibility on a particular video, you can, use that as a metric to define success. From the highest level of marketing, I would always say that conversion is the ultimate goal. How long do people look at your product within your product page, your advertisement, and then do they consider buying your product, and ultimately do they buy your product? So I would say it's like three different phases depending on what type of marketing you're doing. From my position at the moment, I would really need to understand, if you're looking at my product page, why are you not buying our product? Is it because of price? Is it because of the specs is not um, attractive for you? What are the reasons? And by understanding those reasons, I can either improve my product, improve my content, or overall just target to the right audience. Yeah.
And what is the most important for products for pro players, for gamers in general? What do you focus most when you create a product?
I focus on how comfortable they are using the product. For monitors, for instance, we have really high refresh rate monitors, but we also know that a lot of the gamers, they're also content creators. So we created a monitor, for instance, that have dual mode refresh rate. So like there's a dual mode like 4K. If you are a content creator, you want to use 4K. But if you want to switch to a more gaming mindset, you can go to like 480 hertz, for instance. So that
Oh,
would be, targeting people who really have the needs to do both, and making sure that they're comfortable in terms of switching into different modes as well. For other products like, gaming mice, um, keyboards, we make sure that, the grip is suitable to the game that they play. And then also for keyboards, we also have our switches that we create on our own, and then we have like 100% sizes to like 65, 70, and then we make sure that all the experience that they type in is really high polling rating, making sure that the reaction time is really high, that they can compete and um, have the right call to action. Yeah.
Uh,
wow.
Talking about that you showed this keyboard, it's amazing. How does the ASUS approaching different types of products? Because they have like a products for professionals, but they have products for gamers. How they can differ the program and the marketing? They have like a specific, how can I say, a specific program for specific products, or it's more like if it's a gamer, it's you. If it's not a game, it's just other person.
No, actually, we have a lot of different product segmentation. So for the ROG, obviously, we would inquire like gaming professionals to test and see how they feel. For other product lines, like we also have Pro Art, which is geared for professional, whether you're a videographer, you're a graphic designer. So that is more in tune with like the color contrast, color accuracy. So we would look for a lot of professional creators to see, if you want to edit a product or a photo, or edit like a video, how important is you the color grading within the monitor itself. So I would say we would always look at different experts, get their feedback, and improve our product over time. Yeah. So within our products, like for gaming, we already have more than 20 years of experience understanding what gamers needs and wants in order to perfect the right product for their daily competitive usage.
Wow. And do you do campaigns or like positional marketing brand specific for each country, or is it more general?
So from global, we have a general tactic and information delivery for sure, but within like North America, within Europe, or even South America, we definitely have different localization on the messaging. For instance, in Brazil, I understand like CS:GO is pretty popular. Then we
Yeah.
would target products dedicated for that game that will appeal more to that geography.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
great.
Yeah, I don't know if you can answer that, but for example, in Brazil, I think Giovanna is going to agree with me. I can see a lot of ASUS when you say about notebooks, but the how do you say devices? Is device correct? Like mice, keyboards. I'm starting to see that more now. Now you have in Brazil a big company which is for technology. You can see some devices from ASUS. But it was like a strategy, or it was just me that I didn't see? Because now is the one that I see more devices for buying in Brazil. And I have family in Orlando in US. When I go to, for example, Best Buy, I see a lot of products from ASUS and say like, I want to buy this one. But in Brazil, it's more like notebooks. It's like the ROG notebook
Yes,
or
notebook
the cell
is the
phone.
main product
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I would say for like definitely for different regions, the different like supply and demand is different. And we know that Brazil is actually a really really big esports country. Um, Even like Intel Extreme Masters, it's also held in Brazil. Um, but within Brazil, we've been investing a lot of different product lines over the years. If you see more and more like gaming peripherals, that's a good sign. That means, aside for laptops, and you have all these accessories available to you. Um, it also, you know, says a lot in terms of our commitment into esports as well. Within North America, yeah, we've been establishing for the last few years. But I think because once our foot is pretty solid within North America, you'll see that expand a lot more within other regions as well. Yeah.
Wow. And I would like to know more about like you said you do partnership with organizations, and I would like to know how their performance affects ASUS in general, and how you created this partnership. Like you don't need it to say the details, but if you could explain a little more how it works, what you usually offers to the organization.
I think very similar in terms of who we want to target our products to, and then we look at which esports organizations can help us tell that story. So I mean, this year, I mean, North America alone, we are working with three different esports teams. I mentioned like NRG, and Evil Geniuses, as well as Cloud9. For Valorant, these are organizations specifically for NRG and Evo Geniuses. They perform really well in those titles. Um, Cloud9 for CS:GO is actually also pretty strong, and they also are growing in terms of other titles within esports as well. So we look at teams where they can give us feedback on our products, and then they can also perform really well with our products. By doing so, we let a lot of our end users understand that you are able to win and perform at the highest level with our products. So I think that's the key aspect in terms of when we pick a partner. They have to be, really open in terms of giving us feedback, and then we also treat it as kind of like a win-win scenario. Like they're able to um, build that relationship with these esports players. Just will help us to enrich more of our knowledge within this space. Yeah.
Nice. And I imagine that when you do a partnership with this kind of programs like a teams or something, they usually use your products in the tournaments, right? Or I'm crazy.
Yeah, they definitely use our products for the tournaments. So within the esports players itself, a lot of them may have their own preference, but once they use our products and then they do feel like it's a better fit, they will probably switch to our products. We also sponsor different esports tournaments where we would recommend, like, if you want to play Valorant at the highest level, this is the model that you go with. Same thing for CS:GO and other titles, as well as Dota, for instance. Yeah.
Dota I play.
Yeah, you play Dota. Dota is
Yeah,
actually a pretty very popular title. When I hosted the tournament in Malaysia, Southeast Asia is really big on Dota. And
yeah,
then that year, the team that won was Team Secret,
yeah.
a very popular title
In the Team
team.
Secret, it makes a lot of sense because the logo is really close to the ASUS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Mm,
it's
yeah.
really close.
It's an
Uh,
I as well. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
mm,
Uh, I
amazing.
go, Jonathan, go.
I was talking about like how the sports industry is starting in your life. Like if you could tell more about how you get involved and how it's for you today, is the impact in your life right now?
Well, since I'm in marketing, it's an evergreen aspect of my life. Like gaming is, and my job is just intertwined together. Um, how I got involved, I think it was very like a natural adaptation in terms of, hey, there's this opportunity. They need somebody to create content for gaming. I understood gaming, and then it's kind of just fit right in. It's kind of interesting. And back in 2016, 2017, we created a campaign called Join the Republic. um, and Joint Republic meant to be, we are a group of, hardcore, um, hard hardware enthusiasts, gaming enthusiasts. And by doing Join the Republic, we're inviting a lot of people to join this community to understand more about gaming, to game with a lot of our hardware. And it's just a big family of people that want to use the best and perform with the best. So that's why our slogan is also choice with champions back. Like if you want to perform at the highest level, if you want to be a champion, you use our products as well. So yeah, that's kind of like the few campaigns that I ran, especially with Join the Republic. We actually did a global campaign where it's a CS:GO campaign where we go to different events worldwide. So in Australia would be like PAX Australia, and US will be PAX West. We went to Paris Games Week. We also went to a few other events. One event in Taiwan, and then DreamHack. I'm not sure if you're familiar with DreamHack in Sweden. We would go to these different events. We would find a professional player to recruit their own team members, like average fans. They would form a team, and we would all go to Sweden to do a big tournament to compete. So the professional players are captains, and then the normal players are like the average Joes, where they would compete each other for their country. It was a really good campaign because you would see interaction between professional players and their fans, and then they can also enjoy what it means to be competing at the esports level. So that was a really fun event where um, you really get to understand how esports is not just evolving, but it's also playing a big role in terms of everybody's daily lives.
Nice.
Hey.
And I imagine that you have partners with you said that you have partners like the tournaments, the teams. You have partners with the community, for example, like some academic team or something like that. And if you have, how is that strategy? Because I imagine that if you are going to show your product for the tournament, you have to show your best product because it's in a high level. But for
Yes.
community, maybe something more about the price. How is that affordable?
Yeah, so on the collegiate side, we also sponsor a few like collegiate teams. Right now, we do work with the UCLA, and then we also work with like UC Davis on a few of their tournaments. So like within like US and Canada, there is a lot of universities that we work from time to time. We would have a product demo station within each of the events, and they would come and test our products and also give our feedback because we really value a lot of the students' input on this. Within the community, we have our own, ROG forum. We also really active on Reddit in terms of um, telling people if there's like any promotions going on, if there's any, incentives that people can get by buying our products, whether it's like a bundle and so forth. So we're really active communicating that within North America on uh, on things that we offer from time to time. Yeah.
Wow. And from your perspective, what does make a strong partnership for the brand in general?
I think ongoing communication is really important. We would like a partner that can routinely feedback on how we can be successful together. Sometimes, you work with a partner, but then it's the communication is really closed. And then you're doing one thing on one end, but you don't know if it's working or if it's effective or not. So I think, having that open communication, having routine checkups, and then you both have to agree, what is the goal that you want to achieve? Do you, want to, um, you know, I mean, obviously, I think sales is the ultimate goal, but then, you know, how do you want to, let's say, decrease your audience age range, maybe from like, 30 to 40 years to 25 to 35 years, how can we achieve that transition just to, attract more of a younger generation to understand your brand? Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
and talking about the products that you have to do market, how do you see the difference about you create a relationship between hardware innovation and the sports performance? How do you see that it's possible? Like it's more about the hardware, for example, for notebook for showing better graphics and everything, or it's more about how to make them play better with keyboards, mices, and everything?
But like you mentioned, I think different product lines has their own key attributes. For keyboard is obviously the how fast you can have the command within your keyboard to input. We also have gaming routers. Gaming routers deals more with like latency, because our gaming routers they would open a particular um, channel, so you can dedicate most of your bandwidth to that particular game. So by doing so, you're able to, let's say, if you're playing like Dota 2, for instance, but you're also, streaming TV or you're surfing the internet or you have like Twitch open, and then you say you want to allocate, you know, 50 to 60% of the bandwidth dedicated to the game. And that assures that your performance is better compared to other else. So it depends on the products that you want to target. For laptops, obviously, it's going to be, or desktops, it's going to be the how cool your system can be. When you are opening all the highest specs, can your laptop still stay cool? That there's no latency at all. So, yeah.
Great. And have you experienced something like a wrong partnership, like don't a partnership who doesn't give you the results you expect from? How have you deal with that?
And don't need to say which one is that. Just
Yes, no, just like if you could tell us like an experience, no details.
Yeah, I mean, um, there's definitely aspects where in cases where the partner has been very aggressive on their end in terms of demanding like results from us, but then on their side they don't really put in any effort. And then when you want to see like a closing report or kind of like a routine check in terms of what the numbers look like, there's a big disconnect between both parties. um, and then you are sometimes you want to evaluate if a partnership is successful by doing like a test run, maybe like 3 to 6 months and see if the result is good, and then you do like a more of a long-term commitment. But there are other times where, after a couple of months you understand that, it's going to be like a one-way relationship, and then you're going to be very exhausted in terms of trying to manage that partnership.
Yeah, I can imagine it's hard.
And I know that you are a manager. Maybe you don't follow, but do you follow like trends or things like that in esports at game? If you follow these trends, there is one or two. Maybe you can say that, oh, this trend is so nice. I try to join, or I would like to join.
Not particular any like current trends. I know because this year we're celebrating our 20-year anniversary for the Republic of Gamers. So within in-game, we're actually asking people to, you know, leave a mark related to like ROG 20. So if you, let's say you are in like a CS:GO, for instance, and you're in the game, we would ask people, hey, can you, do a screenshot by doing like a spray or like a logo or somewhat, and leave your mark. So been trying to do a lot of these UGC content where hopefully it goes viral and people would share that over the internet. Yeah.
Wow. So you happy to be very entertained with the internet to see what is happening, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think at my position, I definitely want to see um, what's working in esports, what partnerships will be more effective, and then most importantly, what titles are people playing right now in order to, um, you know, get wider like viewership and visibility. So you definitely have to look at the popular title charts. I would go on Twitch from different times and see what games are people playing, what organizations are playing the games, and then what are the prompts and conversations happening within those chats.
Do you have any experience, like any initiative or campaign do you manage and you're proud of? You would like to share with us something like you
S-
made it?
Yeah, so I think I already mentioned a couple, like the Join the Republic, like global campaign is one thing that I created a few years ago. I also created the first ROG Masters in Southeast Asia. That was really big because the price of money was um, a few hundred K, I believe. But yeah, there's a lot of teams that were really excited. I think within the venue, we also attracted over 1,000 people to come and watch people compete. That
Wow.
tournament we had, yeah, both Dota 2 and CS:GO. It's really intriguing and satisfying when you see a lot of people really passionate to come and cheer for their team. And then I think recently it would be the ROG 20-year anniversary initiative. This year we're celebrating that milestone because we've been around the industry for 20 years, and then just letting our fans really enjoy um, our routine giveaways that we do, whether it's on a weekly or monthly basis, and we let a lot of fans, they talk about you know why they love our OG, why they like our brand, and then how can they be involved in terms of celebrating with us.
Great.
It's awesome.
And do you have like some key learnings from activations from products in the esports events? Something that you have learned that it's important for you now for the next one that you're going to do?
Yeah, I think we've been doing a lot of key, I would say like both keyboard launches over the past few years. Um, and then like I mentioned, we have like different form factors for the keyboards, whether it's like 65, 75. And then we would actually see which ambassadors are more suited to talk about your products. And then what games is more suitable for these particular individual um, switches that we also created in-house. So as I mentioned, yeah, we have our own switches, and then we would continue to improve um, the material as well as the precision of these keycaps in order to and switches in order to make sure that they perform at the highest level. This is like kind of like a brown
Right.
switch that you see
Uh-huh.
here. So
Mhm.
in terms of how loud they sound, how they feel, um, we want to be able to communicate that really effectively within our go-to market when we launch a new product. And then we need to find the right people to help us tell that story. So within the next couple of products that we are going to roll out, um, one thing that I need to keep in mind is make sure that I need to find the right marketing vehicles, the right advertisements, so that information can be delivered more smoothly. Yeah.
Right.
Great. And um, how important is the grassroots versus tier one in the sports industry for you?
Sorry, I didn't get that question.
I see. What how important is the grassroots versus
Oh,
tier
grassroots.
one? Yes.
Okay. So grassroots is an area that we routinely invest in. That's why we would invest in like collegiate esports as well.
Mhm.
The few tournaments that we ran in the past, um, we would say that grassroots and esport and tier one is I would say it's still in a very completely different um, audience base, not just on the viewership part, just because these are people that they want to improve themselves in order to get to that highest level. But within grassroots, there's a lot of potential that we see. Um, that's why in a few tournaments we would also target just grassroots players and teams. So they get a chance to know what it's like to be a professional player. A lot of grassroots players, they do have like full-time jobs, and then they just want to have a chance in order to be at that elite level. So we definitely want to offer them the right equipment and hardware so they get a chance to achieve that.
And
Great.
talking a little bit about leadership, you are going to the last part, not last question, but last part about leadership and perspective. What skills for you are essential for someone who wants to work in a marketing today?
For leadership attributes, or
I think you can say both, like because a lot of people who is watching is starting, but a lot of people is transitioning.
for esports, I would say, because I'm a from coming from like a hardware company, so obviously understanding the product is essential. Understanding what you want to sell. With a lot of other aspect for esports, it's understanding that esports a industry that's evolving very very fast. There are some games that may be popular today. Um, how the game is managed from the publisher is really important in terms of how you continue to connect with the audience. So, I mean, if you take a lot of titles that I played in the past, like StarCraft or um, maybe Overwatch is another good example where it was really popular at one point, but then it kind of like fell a little bit. And you definitely want to make sure that you understand, you know, which games have more potential, and can get more viewership. Like games like CS:GO, it's been like really popular for like a really really long time, and it's gonna continue to evolve. Why do people play that? You have to understand, what are the people who like to watch CS:GO versus people who watch, other esports titles like Valorant. The largest, gaming title, obviously, League of Legends. Why do people play League of Legends or Dota 2? I know a lot of Dota players would say like, "Hey, you know, CS:GO, League of Legends is so easy compared to Dota 2," and because there's just a lot more that goes into the game. But there's just the widespread of League of Legends is just huge. The events is just tremendous, and then you can't really ignore that. So within esports, it's ever evolving. You need to pick, what titles you're going to be passionate about, and understanding, what makes a player successful or what makes a game successful. Yeah.
Wow. And if you were starting a career today, what you would do different?
What I would do different. I'm not sure if I would do anything different. I would probably spend more time learning each individual task a little bit more with more concentration. Like a lot of the things that you start off in your career, you if you don't put 100%, it's you really, or if you don't do things over and over again, it's really hard to keep those skills with you. Um, so I would say like cherish every single opportunity that you get. Try to do them in the best of your ability. Try to be very. I'm not a very detailed oriented person, but I start my career doing events, and when you do events and you're not very detailed, a lot of things can be problematic because let's say I started to do like a press event. Whether you do like a press event for a product, for like a gaming product, or for just any other, um, other events that requires timing precision, or you need to, um, control a PowerPoint presentation for a speaker. If you're not very detailed oriented, you it can really look bad for your company. So wasn't a very detailed oriented person, but I started learning what it takes in order to be,
Mhm.
very hands on, very precise, and that really helped me to open doors for the esports career, where you also need to manage, the teams, manage partners, manage internal communication, and you need to make sure that these communications are very clearly spoken, so everybody knows that what is the goal that everybody is trying to achieve. Yeah.
Great. And you are manager now, so I think no, I'm almost sure that you can hire people. When you hire someone, what do you look for in the talent? What is the skills that you look, or I don't know, the skills that you don't like, something like that.
So I look at, um, if they're just graduating, obviously I would look at their, extracurricular activities. I would look at, their own strength and weaknesses. If they have a portfolio, I think it would be a, good tool to assess where they are. For marketing, you need to understand, their marketing knowledge. If you know esports but you don't know marketing, for instance, then how can you combine those together? I think that's kind of essential that I look at. If you maybe already work for like a year or two, I would understand, why are you shifting to a new role? What are you passionate about? What is your goal within the next 3 to 5 years? Um, if your goal aligns with my goal in terms of, helping you to grow more on your marketing knowledge, understanding more on esports, what are the steps that you feel like you need to do in order to get to that? Um, we have interviewed people where people that will say like, hey, I'm here to do this position, and then I need the team to help me learn this and that. I need the team to help me, prepare me, give me instructions. I mean, we don't want somebody just to be in the team to execute. We want that person to have their own thoughts, their own awareness in terms of what the company needs, and it's a relationship where it goes both ways.
Uh,
Great.
Just one question before. You said something that a lot of people who we interview say, which is they have to talk and they have to know. If you had to choose between someone who is really good in marketing but doesn't know anything about esports, or the opposite, which one is easier for you to teach? The gaming and the marketing of esports, or the things about marketing?
It depends. I think you can teach both, but I would say if you're not passionate about esports, then it will be, even if I teach you marketing, how are you going to motivate yourself to be in this field, right? If you don't know, or if you don't know gaming at all, or you don't care about gaming, and you have marketing experience, maybe you can do like routine marketing task, but having that passion is still very important for you to get to that next level to do your job better. So I would say it depends on the individual. Some people like gaming, they don't know esports, but they like gaming, so
Yeah,
maybe that's good enough in order to have with marketing knowledge. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. And what advice would you give to someone trying to go to like a local market to a global role?
I would say uh, it's two different angles. From a global role, you have to understand, the overall branding strategy on what you want to communicate. From a local role, it's very dedicated in terms of what products you're trying to push, how are you going to push your products, and then how can you be successful that the product is going to have a good result. So I would say local is definitely, it's like you're in the battlefield where you need to look at the return on ad spend. You have to look at the views, the engagement really, really closely. Where on global, the the global aspect, you understand, what products you want to create, and then why, locals may be interested in that product. So both those are really, really important in order to, make a product successful within the industry.
Great. And now you are going to the last question. It's a question that you usually to be like the golden tip, which is similar for some about something that you have already asked, but like if you have to give one advice, just one advice for someone who is starting today in the marketing, which advice you'd give?
Mm, I would say be very hungry. Be very hungry in terms of what you are going to acquire. Because when you start in a job, any like newcomer, you're still learning more than you're contributing. And if that balance is not proportion, where you are
Okay.
learning a lot but you're giving very little,
For you.
then that's going to be little problematic, because we want people to be very aggressive. We want people to really be hungry for knowledge and understanding um, their own strength. Like if I say I'm a really good um, person in terms of taking notes, I'm a really good person who um, can make a really great poster. Try to maximize those attributes as much as you can. Try to see how you can contribute to your job with those attributes. At the same time, you're learning new ones. So there's kind of like a give and take relationship. People can see um, you know if your graphic design is really, really well, how can that translate to your job? And you can use that to your advantage, because people would say, hey, that person can do so this and that, and so forth. Or if you just like speak an additional language, that would also be a really good additional attribute to your skill set as well.
Nice. So
Awesome.
yes, so thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you very much, Giovanna. It was a pleasure to have you
Thank
again.
you.
Thank
uh,
you.
Ernest, usually you have like you give you some minutes if you want to say something up for the public or say where they can find you, do some advertising, whatever you want.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm obviously on LinkedIn. You can put my link there, and then I routinely post stuff up about our company, our initiatives. I'll continue to post information regarding our 20-year anniversary um, throughout the year, because we will have a big fan event in North America, in Taiwan, our headquarters. So yeah, look out for those information, and then we will also have a lot of new exciting product launches that will happening throughout the rest of the year. So yeah, go to rog.asus.com and yeah, check out our latest information.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Giovanna, and see you guys
Thank
on
you.
Thursday. Thursday, we're going to have Thiago Buzzi. He's going to be our guest. And thank you very much, guys. See you.
Thank you.